Okay, people, it's time to talk facts here. So Hassan Campbell did a live where he basically said that Afrika Bambaataa, who, for those that don't know, has been accused of SA in the past. I'm saying going back like 20 years or so. He was accused of SA and allegedly did something to some people a part of his organization, Zulu Nation. That's been hanging over his head for the last 20, 30 something years. People have done interviews. People have said, hey, look, this dude is weird. He's a creep, blah, blah, blah. It's been well known throughout that little sector of the community for well over 3 decades now. The problem is the statute of limitations, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Someone please in the comments let me know. But I believe the statute of limitations ran out on any criminal charges that could have been filed against Afrika Bambaataa because they waited too long. But there is a caveat to this. Because the state of New York opened up their books and said, hey, we know that some people have been wronged in the past, violated and whatnot. So what they decided to do was they decided to open up a law that says that if you are within 20 years of or the incident that occurred with you was within a 20-year window, you can file a lawsuit and you can take that to civil court and the judge can decide whether this person did blah, 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 blah. One of the problems with that is that it's not criminal. Therefore, he can't go to jail. He can be sued. He can get liens and whatever put on him, but there cannot be any criminal charges that can be brought forth with this new law. This is a big thing. It kind of gained a whole lot of traction a couple years back. If you're familiar with Sinetta and his platform, you know he was a real big noisemaker for getting that information out there to the people. Hassan Campbell, the other gentleman, I forget his name at the time, B something. It'll come to me in a minute. B Stinger. I forget his real name, but B Stinger. He was in Zulu Nation as well, and he also accused Afrika Bambaataa of SA. So with that being said, him and a few other people decided, hey, look, we want to go to civil court and file civil claims against Afrika Bambaataa for what he did 20, 30 years ago. Now, fast forward to today or yesterday, whenever he dropped the video, Hassan Campbell basically came forward and said that, hey, he was found guilty. And Hassan Campbell said that he's going to be put on a registry.
Afrika Bambaataa has been found guilty. He has been found guilty in civil court. He was a no-show. He refused to face his accusers. So the judge ruled after 3 years of him ducking these charges, he has been found guilty. So now Afrika Bambaataa name will be on the predators list.
Let me update you as to what that actually means, because I think Mr. Hassan Campbell was speaking off of emotion and not actual true fact. Afrika Bambaataa will not be placed on any registry. He will not be placed into Megan's Law. He will not have to follow the orders of a probation officer. He will not be on a registry for life. Here is why. Was Afrika Bambaataa found guilty in court? Yes. Was Afrika Bambaataa found guilty of the claims against him civilly? Yes. Were they criminal? No. If I'm not mistaken, and someone, yes, once again, please update me in the comments if I'm wrong or if I'm mistaken. But if I'm not mistaken, Afrika Bambaataa was not even arrested for any of the claims brought against him by Hassan Campbell, B Stinger, or anyone else. There was an incident where a young man allegedly poked him somewhere overseas in Brazil.
Well, yeah, but from what I understand, when it comes to child molestation, there is no statute of limitations for it. This is why all the Bill Cosby stuff happened and so forth. When we hear about all the Cassie stories, that's a civil lawsuit. That's a little bit different. But people go to prison. I mean, they change the laws because of all the Catholic priest situations and so forth. So I guess my question is, why is there not a concerted effort between all the victims coming together and actually pressing criminal charges in this situation.
Well, from my understanding, I was told that the window of taking him to court was actually closed. With Bam being stabbed, right? When he was stabbed, we went to the hospital because everybody's thinking, well, who would stab Bam? Especially at this age now. Like, what's going on here? You get to the hospital. It's like at least 1,000 people outside that hospital.
And Hassan Campbell has stated on the record that he was one of the ones at the hospital was ready to do damage to whoever did it to him. But come to find out, some of the people that we were there were basically saying, leave that alone. Afrika Bambaataa was doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing, and he got what he had coming, allegedly. So with that, Afrika Bambaataa was never criminally charged. He was never arrested, if I'm not mistaken. He never even saw the inside of a jail cell. So Afrika Bambaataa, therefore, was only found guilty civilly in civil court for damages for what happened to him. Everybody has been going with this narrative that he was going to jail, and he's not. Unless someone went to the district attorney's office and said, hey, I want to file criminal charges against him, and that district attorney said, okay, let me see your evidence, let me see the claims, blah, blah, blah. He was never even indicted. So with that, he can't be charged criminally. He can't even be thrown in jail behind it now, because I think the statute of limitations ran out. So Hassan Campbell getting on live and saying that he's going on a registry just isn't true. It's not accurate. Unless there's a change in the law that says that you can be tried, that you can be found guilty and sentenced in a civil case, I doubt that very seriously. Afrika Bambaataa will not be going to jail. He will not be on no registry. He won't be having to subdue himself to Megan's Law. It's just not going to happen. So before you get your hopes up after hearing that news that he dropped about him being found guilty, he lost the lawsuit because he didn't show up. That's what happened. He did not show up to the civil trial that was supposed to happen. He didn't even answer. I don't even think they were even in the midst of the trial. I think they was just a preliminary hearing or whatever. Or however that preliminary is on the civil side. He didn't even show up. So, of course, as everyone knows, if you don't show up for a civil case where someone's suing you, you lose the case, period. Default judgment, you're done. Because he didn't show up to court, they found him guilty. He'll be on the hook for whatever civil claims that the person brought against him for however much money. But as far as a criminal case, he's not, nothing's going to happen to him criminally. He won't get charged. He won't be put in jail. He won't be having to do an arraignment, nothing. He literally can take this lawsuit and say, okay, I lost, big deal. He's never showing up to court. And as far as I know, this has been going on for the last 3.5 years. He hasn't appeared in one court case. He went on Fox 5, I think it was, in New York, and sat down with Lisa Evers like 4 or 5 years ago and did a little rinky-dink interview where he's like, oh yeah, I'm innocent and blah, blah, blah. But he was never charged. The state's attorney or district attorney never came to him and said, hey, look, we got these charges. We're going to have to lock you up. You're going to have to come sit in jail for a little while, whatever. Never happened. And then you got this knucklehead KRS-One saying, if you got a problem with Afrika Bambaataa, you don't belong in hip-hop, or some dumb shit like that. Look, that's a different story. Bam was found guilty in civil court, not criminal. So Hassan needs to stop running around saying that he's going to jail or he's getting put on a registry. In order for you to get put on a registry, guess what? You have to stand in front of a judge. And he never did. He never appeared in court. He never came to trial. None of that. Hassan Campbell needs to calm down. He lost the civil lawsuit, but there was no criminal charges filed. If you really want to make a difference and say that he needs to go to jail, Hassan, I'm talking to you now, take your ass to court and file a criminal charge against him. Go to the state's attorney or district attorney's office for the Southern District of New York and say, I want to file criminal charges, and see what they tell you. They're going to tell you, statute of limitations ran out, bruh. You could have filed this criminal charge years ago, but he didn't. Actually, even if he did, the defense would eat him up on the witness stand, because they're going to call him as a witness, and you know what they're going to tell him? Well, how come you didn't file this charge years ago? Well, no. Secondly, they are going to refer to certain videos that he has made where he has said in public, in the open, that even if he wanted to sue Afrika Bambaataa, he wouldn't do it because he loved that man so much. So how can you be excited for a guy to lose a civil suit, but then you making people want to hate him so much, but then you turned around and said, oh, I love that man, I will never do nothing to him. You even said in public, on Sanetta's platform no less, that man gave you money to help you take care of your sick dog after you went to him and told him what was going on. So the defense would eat him up anyway. I'm never going to advocate what Afrika Bambaataa did. Ever, 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 ever. But when you got guys that came on to different platforms, like Sanetta's platform, like Half Pint and Bee Stinger, even though him and Bee Stinger had a whole issue, Hassan did, you can't then turn around and be rejoiceful for a guy that you say you love so much, but you're happy that he lost the civil case. And then the only reason I think he even did that was because Hassan got some stupid ass beef with Fat Joe. We don't care, dude. We don't care. Fat Joe owed me an apology. Who cares, dude? Do you want justice or do you want clout? Pick one.